So, day 1 started off as usual by cutting down trees. Now, this was my first time playing Master Mode, and I could already tell it was going to be a challenge. I then found my first chest, which contained my first accessories, which were the climbing claws. Eventually, I ran into the corruption biome further left in the world, and it didn't take long before I ran into some trouble. Since I had spent most of the day exploring, it was nighttime when I got back, so I had to put up this small little house. And for whatever reason, I don't think the guide really liked me, since he kept opening the doors, letting all the zombies in. Eventually, I just drank a mining potion and started mining instead. It didn't take very long before I found my first life crystal, and this is pretty good because it just increases my maximum health. Now, I don't know if spawn rates for life crystals are increased in Master Mode, or if I'm just very lucky, but I found a lot of these. Eventually I found my first golden treasure chest. This had a magic mirror, which is pretty good to get so early on. I basically just kept following the railroad until I found an underground desert. This is where I found a chest containing the storm spear, which was a pretty huge upgrade for my weapon. Getting back to the base, I upgraded some of my tools with the new ores I found. I also had enough tungsten to craft a tungsten helmet. The next day I went exploring to the right side of the world and found a couple of chests. This is also when I got the message that the very first NPC had moved into my house. Eventually I reached the end of the right side of the world where I found a sleeping angler. This also meant that I knew that the dungeon was on the opposite side of the world. The rest of the day was basically spent underground just gathering more resources. Day 4 I had enough materials to craft my first hook. Since all the rooms were now occupied by different NPCs, I had to build another building. I then went exploring all the way to the left side of the world and found a dungeon. You can't really enter the dungeon before you've beaten the old man, which I was not ready for. This is also when I got the message that the blood moon is rising. Since I kept getting spanked during the blood moon, I once again went down in the caves and found a mushroom biome. I think I was pretty lucky since I found some very good accessories, like the Hermes boots. This is also when I got the shoe spikes, which I could combine with the climbing claws I got on day 1. Day 5 was mostly spent down in the caves, just gathering more ores, and I could finally craft the whole tungsten set. Day 6 I figured I couldn't live in that little house, so I had to upgrade. While working on this new house, I got the message that slime was falling from the sky. This means that if you kill enough slimes, the Slime King will spawn. Eventually he did spawn, but since I had no arena or no strategy whatsoever, it was pretty chaotic. Since my HP was very low, I tried to teleport back so I could heal, but unfortunately it was too far and the boss despawned. So the rest of day 6 and day 7 was basically spent working on this new castle. At the end of day 8, I got a message that an evil presence were watching me, which means that the first boss would spawn, which is the Eye of Cthulhu. I quickly tried to make an arena, but I didn't have much time and eventually he spawned. Being completely empty of arrows, I needed to use all of my focus not to mess this up. As an award for my victory, I was given a floating iPad as well as a shield. And with that, on day 8, I placed down my first of many boss trophies. I also worked on moving all my storage from the first base to this one. Eventually I reached all the way down to hell, but I was definitely not prepared enough for the mobs down there. On day 10, I started working on some sort of greenhouse building where I could farm flowers in order to make potions. The same day I also started working on an arena for the next boss, which is the Eater of Worlds. Once again, I was just not prepared for this fight. I didn't know what mechanics the Eater of Worlds had in Master Mode, so I just got completely wrecked. However, I didn't give up. I did some more preparations to the arena. I put blocks down in order to counter his projectiles. And on day 11, I was ready to take on the Eater of Worlds. With the materials I got from the fight, I could craft myself a full set of shadow armor. I looked like an idiot, but I was feeling confident. I also had enough gold to buy the mini shark from the arms dealer. Since I spent all my materials on making the armor, I didn't have enough to craft the nightmare pickaxe, so I had to kill the Eater of Worlds once again. During this fight, I could also tell a meteor was about to land. I crafted a nightmare pickaxe, which meant I could go down to hell and mine Hellstone ore. A little bit later, I got the message that the goblin army is approaching from the west. I died a couple of times, but eventually I did beat the army. I figured out where the meteor had landed, and I farmed enough meteorites so I could make a purple faceblade. I went exploring in the jungle for the first time, and pretty quickly I found a beehive. I didn't know that my grappling hook could destroy the summoning item, so I was once again in a situation where I had no plan or strategy. I returned to the jungle and kept exploring and found a couple of nice accessories. I started working on a little trophy room, and that's when I found a gold bunny, which I captured. Day 15, King Slime returned once again, and this was my time for redemption. I got some nice items from the fight, like the slime saddle, as well as some nice vanity items, like the ninja armor. Once again I was in a situation where all the rooms were filled with NPCs, so I had to make more rooms. I also purchased this winter cape, which looked pretty good. I also had to go for a little test drive with my new mount. I also went fishing in the jungle to do a quest for the angler. I then worked my way down to hell once again to mine hellstone. I died a lot, but eventually I could make a new weapon called the Volcano, which absolutely destroyed the mobs. I also had just enough hellstone bars to start working on my new armor set. Eventually I found a goblin tinkerer, which sold me the rocket boots as well as a tinkerer's workshop. Getting the workshop is pretty big, because that meant I could start combining accessories. I also figured out that the best way to farm hellstone was by drinking an obsidian potion. This meant I didn't take damage from any lava. Since I farmed a shit ton of hellstone bars, I could craft the whole armor set as well as the imp staff. It was now time to start preparing for the very next fight, which was Skeletron. It seemed hellstone armor wasn't enough, and I had to go back down in the mines to get more HP. I found Billy down in the cave, which sold the aglet which I needed for my boots. Finally, I found the last life crystal I needed before I had maximum health. Since I now had the aglet, I could craft myself the lightning boots. I went exploring a bit and found a floating lake. I started expanding my base to get more room for NPCs when I got the message that another goblin army was coming. This time, however, it was much easier. I also went exploring all the way to the right side of the world and found some interesting items. At nighttime, however, I once again tried to kill Skeletron. Since I could only fight him during the nighttime, I spent some time fishing and doing some quests for the angler. And once again, I just got absolutely wrecked. Day 25, I found a floating island with a chest containing a lucky horseshoe. By nighttime, I was once again ready to try and kill Skeletron. Having beat Skeletron, it meant I could now explore the dungeon. I found a cobalt shield, which was one of the accessories I was looking for. I also found a shadow key, which I could use on the shadow chests down in hell. However, the shadow chest didn't really give me anything good. Day 28, I found another floating island, which had a chest containing the red balloon accessory. This meant I could now combine the balloon with my cloud in a bottle and craft a cloud in a balloon. I could then use that with the lucky horseshoe to craft a horseshoe balloon. Day 29, I once again managed to accidentally spawn Queen Bee. I managed to die with 84 HP left on the boss. Very nice. Even though I didn't manage to kill Queen Bee, I still tried to kill the wall of flesh. The strategy for this boss fight is pretty much just making a very long platform and running. Even though I died, I didn't give up and I tried once again. Taking a little break from hell, I went to heaven instead, and I found a new floating island. I figured I should try and get some new weapons for the Wall of Flesh fight, so I made an arena to make the Queen Bee fight easier. With some new accessories and a new bow, I tried once again to kill the wall of flesh. Since that didn't work, I summoned the queen bee once again to try and get the bee gun, which didn't take any long since I got it on the first try. In the end, the bee strategy finally worked and I managed to kill him. After killing the wall of flesh, your world officially enters hard mode. This means there's new mobs, new bosses, and everything is just harder. I also increased my accessory slots by using an item that was dropped by the wall of flesh. You also get this hammer after killing wall of flesh, which you can use to destroy demon altars. After destroying these, you bless the world with 3 new ores. This meant I had to go back into the mines and start spelunking. With the pickaxe I currently had, I could only mine cobalt, but I could quickly make bars and make a cobalt drill. Now with this cobalt drill I can go and mine mithril. With the bars I got before I died, I created an anvil, which is then used to craft better tools. I could then go ahead and craft a mithril drill, which I could then mine titanium with. I then used the rest of the bars to create a helmet and a chest piece. Having gotten enough titanium ore and combining that with the hell forge, I could make a titanium forge. Now, instead of going back to the mines, I tried to kill the wyvern. This is because he drops souls of light, which I can use to craft wings. I almost thought I had him when... On day 36, I finally managed to kill him. However, he didn't drop enough souls, so I had to kill him again. I then went down in the caves to farm souls of night and light. I also forgot to mention that after you kill Wall of Flesh, it spawns a new biome called the Hallow biome. I farmed enough titanium to finally upgrade my sword. I also had enough to craft 2 pieces of titanium armor. I also had enough souls of light to craft angel wings. This meant that I could finally fly. I then went to the goblin to reforge my weapon, giving it a new prefix. Whilst I was farming for titanium, I all of a sudden found a wizard NPC, which is pretty nice. When I returned home it was blood moon and I got absolutely wrecked. However, I did manage to get the portable piggy bank item, so that was perfect. Now I also had enough titanium to finish the armor set. Since I had gotten so much titanium, I could make the drill as well as the chainsaw. Then it was time to start thinking about the mechanical bosses. I then just started flattening out an area outside of my base. At night time I summoned the Destroyer, which is basically the Eater of Worlds, only mechanical. And it shoots lasers. I needed some more area to place random stuff in, so I built this house. I also needed to create more NPC housing, so I extended the basement. I also got this weapon called the Icicle, which seemed pretty cool. By combining 4 of the weapons I already had at the demon altar, I could craft a Knight's Edge. I also got enough Souls of Night, which I could use to make Cursed Flames, which is a magic book. By getting this magic weapon, I thought I was ready to kill the Destroyer, but I was wrong. So this is pretty much how the days went, me farming Souls of Night and trying to kill the Destroyer and dying. Now, the next part was the biggest time waste in the whole video. I was trying to get the Daedalus Stormbow from the Mimic. What I didn't know was that it only dropped from the Hallowed Mimic, and I was farming the Corrupted Mimic. I also bought this imbuing station at the Witch Doctor, which I can use to make special potions. I also started working on this farm thingy. I have no idea what I was doing and it didn't work, so that was also a time waster. So yeah, just keep in mind that I was trying to farm for a weapon I couldn't even get. When I was down farming souls, I got a message telling me that Skeleton Prime was about to spawn, so I headed back up and prepared myself. Once again I was in a situation where I didn't have any plan or strategy and I just got completely wrecked. Now at this part I tried spawning in King Slime in order to create many mobs so I could get more Souls of Night, but it didn't seem to work. Finally, I looked it up on Google and figured out that I had to kill the hallowed mimic instead. Luckily for me, I was now an expert at killing mimics. After many hours of farming, I finally got the Daedalus Stormbow. I also went ahead and reforged it until I got the Deadly modifier. I then went ahead and farmed some unicorns and pixies in order to create holy arrows. At night time, I got the message that I could feel vibrations from deep below, which meant that the destroyer was spawning. The very same night I got the message that deer clubs had awoken as I was exploring. I had never seen or heard about this boss before, so I didn't really know what to expect, but he didn't really have much HP and I could just fly above him. I then summoned Skeleton Prime, but again I didn't really have a strategy or plan, so yeah. I worked some more on the arena, making it a bit longer. I then combined a magic quiver with the magma stone to craft the molten quiver. I also made a ton of iron skin potions. These are always just useful to have. It was also about time I upgraded my summons, so instead of having 2 imps, I now had 2 spiders fighting for me. I was getting pretty annoyed at all the floating meteor heads trying to kill me, so I decided to clean up the whole area. Once again I got the message that I could feel vibrations from deep below, which meant the destroyer was once again coming. Since I couldn't manage to kill him, I tried Skeleton Prime once again. I got a message that they were having a party back home, so at least someone was having a good time. I also spent the whole platinum on a butterfly pet. Yep. I also continued to farm unicorns in order to make holy arrows. Once again, the goblin army was approaching from the west, but of course it was no challenge for me, especially at this point. I was getting better and better against the destroyer, and I knew I would kill him soon. And just before I killed him, he managed to kill me. But at this point, I was certain that I would kill him. Finally managing to kill him, I got a bunch of loot. Like for example, a new pair of wings. I also got a bunch of dye, so I just went ahead and dyed a lot of my accessories. One of the things you get when killing the mechanical bosses are the hallowed bars. With these bars, I crafted the Excalibur. I was then gonna upgrade my mini shark and needed 5 shark fins. When I had the shark fins, I could head to the arms dealer and buy myself the illegal gun parts. When I combined all of these materials, I could now craft the Mega Shark. Whilst farming for the shark fins, I also got a pirate map, and I used this to summon the pirate invasion. The pirate invasion is basically the goblin army, only stronger. There are also these huge Flying Dutchman ships that spawns, and for whatever reason they got stuck on my arena, so it wasn't really that hard to kill them. I finally managed to kill it, and I got myself a new mount as well called the Black Spot. This new mount gave me the ability to fly, and it just seemed really powerful. The pirates just dropped a bunch of golden interior, so I just placed it all. I tried to kill the destroyer once again because I needed more hallowed bars. Since I couldn't kill any bosses during the daytime, I just started clearing out areas and doing some terraforming. I also started filling in dirt in this massive hole. At night time, I once again tried to summon Skeleton Prime. I spent a lot of time in day 60 trying to get fish that I could use in potions. I think I finally figured out the strategy to killing Skeleton Prime, which is basically just flying around him in a circle. Feeling very happy with that victory, there was only one mechanical boss left. I summoned the twins the very next night, but I quickly figured out that I needed a better strategy to kill them. I went over to the Steampunk NPC and bought the Blend-O-Matic. With this machine you could create asphalt blocks, which makes you run much quicker. I then started working on expanding the arena. I also did a bunch of random shit at my base. At nightfall, I once again summoned the twins. And with this asphalt setup, it was pretty easy. Feeling very confident about killing all the mechanical bosses, I was now ready to go to the jungle. I had also gotten enough hallowed bars to craft a full set of hallowed armor. When I entered the jungle, I quickly found Plantera's bulb, which is the item you use to summon Plantera. However, there were a lot of preparations that needed to be done before I could do that. I also summoned and killed the destroyer one more time because I needed more souls of might. I combined all the souls from the mechanical bosses with the Knight's Edge to craft the true Knight's Edge. I also crafted the Drax, which you can use to mine chlorophyte in the jungle. I also found 2 life fruit crystals, which you can use to increase your health by 5. I then went ahead and reforged my true Knight's Edge, but I was just really unlucky and couldn't get a good modifier. With all the ore I got, I could make a ton of chlorophyte bars, and I used that to craft the true Excalibur. I went back into the jungle and started working on an arena for the Plantera farm. I had so much chlorophyte that I could also make a full set of chlorophyte armor. I also crafted a ton of chlorophyte bullets, as that would help me in the fight against Plantera. The first phase of the fight seemed to go very easily, but the second phase I had more trouble with. I also worked on a little farm for the Plantera bulb as well as the life fruit. I then found a new beehive, so I just had to kill Queen Bee. She dropped this little bee pet, so of course I had to use him. Right here I picked up a jungle key, but I didn't even notice it before way later. I headed to the dungeon to open the jungle chest, but I couldn't before I've beaten Plantera. Later on day 69 I got the cross necklace, which is an accessory I really wanted. I can now combine the star necklace as well as the star cloak to craft the star veil. It seemed the farm had worked since the Plantera bulb had spawned. I went fishing once again in order to make more potions. I felt like the reason I was dying was because my arena was too small, so I started expanding it. While expanding, I got the message that a solar eclipse was happening. There wasn't really anything particularly interesting happening here. I didn't get any good drops or anything, so yeah. One mistake I did when expanding the arena was I didn't turn everything into a jungle biome. So what happens if you take Plantera out of the jungle biome, she enrages and she is much harder to kill. I then went back and placed mud blocks all over the arena as well as jungle grass seeds. This would slowly turn the arena into a jungle biome. Oh, and I got another jungle key. I also tried to separate the biomes even further by adding a huge gap between them. I visited the Steampunk NPC once again and bought the Contaminator. I could use this to purify the hallowed biome and turn it back into normal. I also bought this interesting wall from the traveling merchant. I also found the last life fruit, which increased my health to 500. I also found another accessory I needed, which was the Titan glove. I could use this and combine it with the feral claw to make a power glove. I also headed to the underground mushroom biome in order to get mushroom grass seeds. I would use these seeds in order to convert one of the floating islands into a mushroom biome. Once my whole arena was a jungle biome, I was once again ready to take on Plantera. After all my preparation, the fight was actually pretty easy. Opening the treasure bag, I received the temple key, which now meant I could enter the jungle temple. After carefully navigating through the temple, I finally found the last room. Oh, and also about this remote control drone. Since I had now beaten Plantera, I could go back into the dungeon and open the jungle chest. And seeing that lazy piranha gun, I was pretty disappointed. Before fighting the golem, I did some more expansions on the house. Getting back into the temple, I was now ready to fight the golem. The boss fight was actually pretty easy, and I beat him on the first try. I got some nice items. The best one I think was the new golem lightning pet, which was pretty cool. Since I was so surprised by how easy it was, I summoned him once again, just to see if there were any more items that I could get. This is also when I got the message that the truffle NPC had now moved into the mushroom biome. Having killed the golem, we were now entering the endgame. I visited the newest NPC and bought the auto hammer from him. You use this machine in order to convert chlorophyte bars into shroomite bars. This meant that I had to expand the workspace. I then crafted 18 shroomite bars so I could make the shroomite digging claws. I then tried to kill the cultists, which were standing outside of the dungeon. Again, I didn't know the mechanics the boss had in Master Mode, so I just kept screwing myself over basically. In the jungle temple I had got myself a solar tablet, which I could use to spawn the solar eclipse. I killed Mothron and my goal was achieved. I managed to get the broken hero sword. With the broken hero sword, I can combine it with the true Excalibur and the true Knight's Edge to craft the Terra blade. And this thing is just absolutely amazing. I then decided to move all the trophies down to the newest room. Day 81, I once again tried to kill the cultist leader. Since I couldn't manage to kill him, I just went around decorating instead. During the nighttime I found a Martian probe, which then started the Martian Madness event. After getting absolutely spanked, I finally managed to defeat them. I returned to my little fishing pond in order to get more potions. Instead of trying to fight, I focused on getting better accessories. When I finally understood how the mechanics actually worked, the fight was much easier. Directly after killing the cultist leader, you start the lunar event. The event itself consists of 4 pillars that you have to destroy in order to summon the Moon Lord. I also got the Ancient Manipulator, which I will use in order to craft better gear. I then started working on killing the pillars, but I died a lot. Finally, I managed to kill the first of 4 pillars. With the solar fragments I got, I made myself the solar eruption, which is a pretty good weapon. With the Stardust fragments I received, I could make myself the Stardust Dragon Staff, which summons a dragon. And going forward, I basically continued working on destroying the pillars. I then started with some small preparations to the Moonlord fight. And with that, Moonlord was officially summoned. And I got absolutely wrecked. I did some more preparations to the arena. I also summoned Skeleton Prime just to get some gold. I also summoned the twins, but I think I was too confident and I just, yeah. I figured my armor was too weak, so I had to get more chlorophyte in order to make turtle armor. When I had crafted the full turtle armor, I could now upgrade it to the beetle armor. So it was time to say goodbye to Chlorophyte Jardus and say hello to Beetle Jardus. And with that, I summoned Moonlord once again. I tried crafting some new weapons as well to help him with the fight. I also did some more preparations to the arena. I also just killed the Eye of Cthulhu a bunch of times in order to get some gold. I figured I should go and kill Duke Fishron in order to get some new weapons. I also made this small little hut. For this fight I was planning on using a slime saddle strategy, where you just fly up and use the slime saddle to get quickly down. The strategy almost worked, but in the end, it was just so much happening that my brain couldn't follow. Since I had run out of Moonlord summons, I had to do the cultist event once again. This part right here is so dumb because I got stuck inside of the house because of my mount. I also did some more preparations by making the daybreak and doing some more fishing. I got absolutely lasered, but my confidence was still high. And just like that, on day 94, Moonlord was defeated. I got some very nice loot from the treasure bag, like the Meow Mare and the Celestial Starboard. I could also craft Luminite bars now, which are used to craft the best armor in the game. Day 95, the Martians invaded once again, only this time I actually want to kill the big UFO. I finally figured out that the strategy was just running around the asphalt blocks, because it couldn't reach me, so then it was pretty easy. I also got the cosmic car keys, which is pretty nice. I then summoned the Moonlord once again because I needed more bars, but I actually didn't manage to kill him. And on day 97, I could finally craft the full set of solar armor. Now, the last couple of days was pretty much just spent building and yeah, taking a look at everything I've done. Now, Even though I've killed the Moonlord, there's still so many events and bosses that I've yet to kill, so maybe I'll do a part 2. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like and maybe consider subscribing. Anyways, have a nice day. Bye bye.